and recording. Fucking
Oh my god, you can't swear.
It's my channel. I'll do whatever I want.
I could add the like.
I really should actually
swearing
keep it. I should keep it to like. There's like something in the algorithm where you need to like do it like after a certain amount of time. If it's in the first few minutes, yeah, that's when like it really picks it up. I'll just if it ever becomes a problem, I'll bleep it out. I don't care. Anyway, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, everybody. Fucking, I love it here. It's great. So last time the team basically just did a whole lot of planning, talking to lots of people after their encounter with the Avatar of Null. Had to go through some get some stuff out in the ear. Wayclaw explained that after the explosion of the big clockwork behemoth, things weren't still going exactly the way they want over there, but still holding out. And then left. Kakazuchi said that he would be of assistance at the end, and said to hit him up if you ever have to go over to the Fire Kingdom, and then left. The king was like, I'll give you a lift, but not really, see you later. Gave you some diamonds.
Just kidding, here's my number though.
Yeah, basically, here's my number, here's some diamonds, I'm out of here.
Wait, are there phones in this world?
No.
Oh.
As the
He gave us teleportation, his teleportation circle runes.
Yeah, so that you're capable of using the teleportation circle here at Jamie's house to teleport to Ralavalor. Yes. Although I think Oran has also said something about give me a call, you got my number as well. So maybe phones do exist. Who knows? What else? You guys asked Jamie if it seemed like it was a good idea to maybe check in on this Feywild stuff. And she was basically like, yeah, kind of seems like it's a little too much of a coincidence that Black Sun God's doing some wacky shit over here and things are going bad over in the Feywild as well. So seems like a good thing to check out. But otherwise, Tim went to the Temple of the Dead Gods and made their prayers to Jinsen, and also learned about the previous god of turnips, New Yip, who is currently dead, as it stands, for enshrouded in other mystery. As to how he died or the other stuff, much like every other dead god in that temple.
I presume he got carved.
Got what now?
Carved.
Carved?
Solon got him.
Okay. Anyway.
I'm making Halloween jokes. Come on.
Yes. Turnip carving, which we just
carved. Yes.
He got card. A vehicle landed on him. That's why
he got a red card. Sorry, you're off the team. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Out of the ranks of gods.
Exactly.
You, turnip boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get for flirting with too many humans. Anyway. Anyway. That is where we are currently, actually. The team is kind of split up. Thrakis is hanging out with Jamie, as is the norm, and everybody else is currently at the temple, having just laid their diamonds out. So that's where we're at. Yeah. It's like midday-ish. You guys just had some lunch. So you're good. Whatever you want to do.
Are we done praying to Jensen?
Yes, so just put your diamonds down. You just did your prayers. It's up to you whether you want to continue that, if you want to investigate more of the statues or investigate more of the gods that are here, or if there are other places you want to be.
What
As I
other
said-
places are there locally?
Well, as I said before the recording, there is a bone. There is a skeleton cat that I'm sure everyone wants to go see.
Yes.
That belongs to Berinda Griminor, who is one of the you at the time you thought was like great aunt of Elirotha, but turns out is probably the other way around.
Oh,
Because she's a dragon and has been, kind of hiding in that whole time. So, but she was nice. There's someone to go see. Obviously, also talk
Ailey
to
definitely
Jamie.
wants to go there.
Yeah. Obviously, you can also talk to Jamie about stuff. She knows things. What else? Somebody else.
Varys was keen to go and see Elephon as well.
Exactly. Who is also in Jamie's castle. And we can basically see him on the way out because that's where his where the teleportation circle will be. So
Perfect.
So what's the plan? Anybody?
I think given that Jin knows nothing about this part of the world and the others do, he's going to kind of defer to them.
Makes sense.
Eric's not a leader, he's a follower.
Also makes sense.
Also, I don't know this land personally, so even if he did want to go somewhere, I don't know where we are.
That's fair.
So I just
Yeah, that makes
for the foreseeable future, Jarek will not be making decisions for anyone about where they're going.
Perfect.
Well, Ailey being Ailey, after doing all that, would probably just leave and start walking towards the cat.
Cool.
I guess we're going to follow Ailey towards the cat.
Well, it's that Ailey's going to the cat, but
Yeah, I
But he
think
probably
we
only
have all-
Varys would realize that's where Ailey's going, right? Because no one else would
Yeah,
know.
no one
about
else would
the cat.
know. Exactly, but I just you would see Ailey, put down their diamonds and then turn and be like, I know
Sneak
where I'm
one in
going
their
now.
pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Varys just
Um,
shakes his head as he sees it happen.
hmm And the rest of you follow Ailey out, and down the street, almost back to Jamie's mansion, but then hang a left, make your way down the street until you pass by the Zoltamol family cemetery. Well, I guess just Zoltamol's entire cemetery, really, which brings back some memories for some people. And then past that until you see on the horizon, coming into view pretty quickly, the nice little cottage of Berinda and her family.
I like to believe somewhere along the way, Varys would have taken over for leading because Ailey would have gotten lost.
Probably. It's taken Varys a little bit to catch up with his little legs as well too, though.
Like, she'd get as far as the cemetery and be like,
Just slow ever so slightly down, not pretending that she's like, oh, just letting you guys catch up until Varys gets in front. Perfect.
Varys continues and leads the way to Berinda's house.
Fantastic. Walk up the steps to the front door of Berinda's. You can already feel a slight warmth coming from inside. Seems like the fire is lit and there is some chatter going on. It seems like it's not just Bayrinder inside.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, I think Varys will hear the sounds of talking inside and wait a beat before knocking quite loudly.
Do we recognize any of the voices?
Roll a perception check for me.
Can I? It says game paused. Will I be able to?
You should be able to. I'll unpause it anyway.
No.
Quick, everyone, run!
Go wherever you want. Oh my god. Fucking traveling miles at a time. Crazy.
Covered so much ground.
I don't have a concept of how big we are.
That's fair.
We are definitely not to scale.
No,
Well, let me put it in this perspective then. This distance from where you are here, where Jun is where you technically all are grouped together, to here
What
was
is
2
this?
days. It's a town. Yes.
I thought they were towers.
They are
As well.
they are towers of a sort, but they symbolize a town on this map.
I see.
Yes. But yeah, that length took you 2 days. No. Yeah, 2 full days on horses to get across. So
No, I'm really fast. I ran there and ran back.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, didn't even fucking super fast. The Flash show
That'd be
here.
rolling death saves because you're
Mhm.
exhausted.
Anyway, no, with that perception roll, you have no idea who those voices are.
Well, damn.
So
In that case, she'd just go and knock unless Varys stops her.
Varys did knock as well, I believe.
Varys
So-
already knocked.
Please knock anyway. That's funny.
Yeah. Extra knocking.
Yeah, Ailey would knock as well. Much louder. Because I suspect Varys would be like, kind of nice and gentle, and Ailey would be like, doof, 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 doof.
Yeah.
It's a relative knock for Varys. He knows that he's got the, like little hands, so he's going to knock a bit louder than people would expect anyway.
You hear a sort of gruff male voice, sort of older gentleman, say, "Hold your horses, I'm coming."
Horses are held.
Opens the door.
Ailey would be like, where are our horses? Looking around.
Varys just looks at Amy's belt, Ailey's belt, where the stick is, I assume, the bone.
No, the horses were taken by Hamon.
Oh, they
You guys
were,
didn't
okay.
return them,
Mm.
so
They're actually stabled.
they are actually stable right now.
Oh, goodness.
Rare.
Were we weren't expecting a man to answer the door, were we?
No, you were not.
Is it a familiar looking man?
It is not, particularly, very especially, because the man's head is a skeletal head. He is entirely a skull on top. He is wearing.
Pretty cool.
He has got glasses on, but no eyes in his
What?
sockets. Yep, he's got glasses
Where
on,
do
but
they
no.
hang?
Somehow miraculously
This is
held in there.
insert.
He's got like a beanie esque sort of thing going on, like a knitted top.
Keep
to-
his skull warm.
which probably keeps the skull warm, but it also seems to be probably holding in those glasses. You see tufts of hair that really shouldn't be growing on a it shouldn't be growing on a skull or on the jawbone at the bottom. It also seems it does move up and down as he speaks, which also seems unnecessary as there's no flesh to give that sound. There's no, it just all seems very unnatural. But you can't help but feel a sort of fatherly warmth to him. It's weird. But as he opens opens it further and further just for everyone to get a good look and for him to get a good look at all you guys. He goes, "Oh, Berinda, your friends are here." And you hear off from the kitchen area, "Oh, didn't expect them back anytime soon. Please come in, dearies." And he
Thank you
moves
very
out of the
much.
way and moves his arm to
Ailey would
direct you.
probably be like, "Thank you, Granddad." So-
Don't mind, Ailey.
He nods at that. It's very difficult to read expressions on his face as he is entirely skeleton. But there seems to be a skeleton smile on his face. You notice that the rest of his body seems to be flesh. Like his arms. You can see he's wearing a pretty he's not wearing stuff that looks like he's trying to be particularly warm, which is a juxtaposition to his knitted hat. But you can see that his forearms are thick and muscly, like a farmer's arms and legs. It just seems that it's just his head and neck that are skeletal.
Does it seem a bit like the skeleton head is piloting a flesh mech?
Yes, I guess you could kind of see that. Or that his
like the top part on it.
it is.
Is there any?
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, is there anything that Jun can do to kind of try and get a sense of who is this guy and why does he look so unusual?
It depends. Do you just want to try and perceive him? Are you trying to use magic, or are you like going in depth with your null connection?
Maybe the null connection. I don't have.
Okay, then roll a religion check.
Like
for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have like the one Thrakus has that detects.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could have caught anyone who wasn't listening out then, Skelly, by making us each answer individually.
I could have. I mean, I know that sometimes people just check out when it's not their turn to ask things, so it's fair enough.
I like to think of Jeddick as a supporting character, not a main character. So he doesn't drive the narrative, he just looks for little moments to be funny.
Perfect. Okay. So,
Jun thinks he's the main character.
yes, absolutely.
We're all supporting characters in Jun's world.
Do I think Jun's the main character? No, he doesn't.
All right. Well, with that 22 on religion, you peer into this man, this skeletal-faced man, sort of an extension of your devil's sight, looking into his being as an entity here, and it seems you have some experience with this simply as he seems to be an undead of some sort, which is also helping in this nature. It looks like there is an additional energy to him, not just his soul that has been returned to his body, but his skeletal nature and his ability to talk and move around is being bolstered by some energy that flickers and manifests in your sight as sort of a purple smoke. You imagine that it is very much from Jamie.
Yeah. Jun is going to, in a kind of friendly way, introduce himself.
Well, nice to meet you, Jun. I've not had the pleasure of meeting you all, but Berinda was here the last time that you were.
Yes. I'm Varus. Nice to meet you. And Varus will reach up his hand towards him.
He shakes your hand very briskly. He's got a lot of strength behind there.
Mhm. Varus winces, but he's okay.
He doesn't hurt you. Just there's definitely some weight
I
there.
feel like Varus is used to people undercalculating how much they actually need to not squeeze.
Exactly. He says, "I'm Gorluin.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Berinda's husband."
Oh, I think she mentioned you. Aren't you supposed to be dead or something?
He has a hearty laugh. Yes, I guess I am supposed to be dead.
Also, is your cat here?
Yes, I
Really,
believe.
you can't just ask people if they're dead. God.
Oh, there's no shame in being dead, you know? It's just another way of being.
Dies. I've already died. Ailey will go off to find the cat and probably not, like, knowing her, she's gonna just miss 90% of it.
Yeah. Well-
Jun will turn to our new skeleton friend and say, "Well, it's just as well you're not dead currently. It's not very pleasant at the moment, apparently."
No, I have heard it has gotten worse, which is odd to say the least. Imagine that. Death getting worse.
Significantly worse, unfortunately.
Well, do please come in. Miranda's just put the kettle on. We'll have some tea. I'm sure your Scraps is around here somewhere. Especially while it's nice and warm in here.
Mm-hmm.
Skelly, how do I spell his name?
Gorluin.
Cool. I
God
almost
damn
got it right.
Perfect.
I spelled it Lewin.
Fair enough.
This was a while ago, and I don't think I actually asked. It's just like, write down the names, write down the names.
That's fair. That's fair.
And is it Greven? Is he around as well?
Yes, I believe. He calls out, "Greven, where are you, boy?" And there is a light huff you hear from somewhere, and a small boy sort of appears much in the same way that that Haemon has been appearing, but from behind a door in front of you guys in the sort of living area that you enter in on. And he seems to be is sort of an opposite to his dad. He's a seems like a perfectly normal elf boy from the head down to about his knees, where you see in his shorts that his legs are skeletal.
What's with all the half-skeleton people? Ailey will be trying to ask Varys because, you know.
You remember that Jamie raised people when she used her magic here? I imagine that maybe it didn't restore body parts if they weren't available, you know?
That makes so much sense.
Hey, I'm just spitballing.
She'll
How
go
often
back
have
to
I
petting the
been a
cat.
skeleton?
Would Jun have any knowledge about if that's the probable explanation or if there's some other explanation?
So from your, I'll just keep going from that religion check. From your understanding of undead, it's very odd that would be the case. Usually, spells that resurrect the dead do a full restore. So those real potent magics are like, boom, you are restored anything that's broken, healed. Anything that is missing, restored. Things like this seems like it's closer into the idea of the spell, third level spell, raise dead, instead of a resurrection, which raises a zombie or a skeleton, which is usually not actually putting a soul back in a body. It's usually just animating your corpse, making it do your bidding. It seems like in her wild nature, when Jamie did resurrect all of these people, she wasn't planning on it being this way. So she may have caused them to raise dead like a zombie skeleton, and then after the fact has restored their actual personality. Which rings true to what you've been told about Jamie's escapade here, is that when she first...
Were they initially raised as an army?
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Yeah.
That she raised them as an army, and then after that was like, oh fuck. Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
That was great for right then, but now I need to go get some souls.
Jin's going to quietly keep this to himself because he knows that most of the party is quite in favor of Jamie and doesn't want to sour any of their opinions of him.
Fair enough.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. No, that's just...
Yep. Everybody has those days where you return from the dead to find out that your entire family has been murdered and all of the other elves are responsible, and you want to go and kill them all. It's just a normal everyday thing to happen.
Monday,
Yeah.
Yeah. Casual Wednesday night.
It's also a casual thing to want to raise an entire army of the dead.
To wage war against your enemies.
I mean, we know Ailey would if she could.
Yes, she's...
The whole group is glad that she can't.
Very.
Fuck for that.
Anyway. The young boy, Grevin, he does not seem to... he seems to be approaching teenagehood, whatever that means for an undead. So he sort of
skeleton grow.
You don't know. You weren't here to see him before, so you don't know if he's grown any since the last time you saw him.
Yeah, fair. It'd be really fucking rude to ask.
Yeah. But his demeanor is exactly that of a preteen. His arms are folded. He just doesn't greet you. He doesn't seem happy to be included in this.
We got a badass over there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be an angsty teenager, do it while you're undead. That's the best way to be about it. All right.
You're gonna say do it while you're a teenager.
That's a good. That's definitely, you definitely don't want to be an angsty teen when you're not a teenager. That's weird. Anyway, Guluin says to the boy, "All right, it's fine. You don't have to say anything. You can go back to doing what you're doing. Kids, Please do come in and sit down.
Okay.
Surely you were a teenager once."
I feel like we were probably raised very, very differently. It's okay.
Okay. Well, as you all come in and find yourself in the kitchen/dining room, Bayrinda is very much standing there, boiling a kettle of hot water. And you see Scraps jump down from the windowsill where he was sitting, seemingly in a beam of sunshine, and hops down and up onto one of the chairs by the dining room table to say hello to the new guests, giving slight tremble, like he's trying to purr, but he, is entirely skeleton, does not have the facilities for that.
And goes, oh, even undead cats like the sunshine.
Well, anyone who doesn't have the ability to move blood across their bones likes the warmth. As you see Goluin sit back down where he was, in front of the fire in the living room, and see him like pull blankets over himself.
How cold is it here otherwise?
Check out Janek's nipples.
Oh dear.
Like the fucking 5 gum
God, you could
adverts.
cut an apple on
Whatever it
those.
was.
Dear Lord.
It's not actually that cold here. So it's like late spring now, late-ish spring now. When you were here previously, when it was foggy and cold, it was very cold when you were here last time. But yeah, at the moment, outside's pretty warm actually. Stepping into this house is even warmer, but not uncomfortably so. It just seems like, like he is much colder than he would otherwise be with skin, which kind of makes sense, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw that Griven was wearing shorts, so can't be that cold.
Hmm.
So how have you all been? What's the happenings been around here?
Well, not so much, really. Things have lightened up a little bit since you were all here. It does sound like
literally and figuratively, huh?
yes, it does seem like the lady of the manor has cheered up quite a bit, which is nice. I'm glad that you were able to help her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was exactly us, and Varys just thinks back to the mansion where Jamie and Therakus are right now.
I see.
But it was nice to be able to help. I think what was going on in the human side of things was pretty gross, so it was nice to be able to get her back here.
Yes. Well, I've got tea going. I've got some biscuits.
Biscuits?
She pulls out exactly the sort of metal container you're thinking of, but instead of a container, it doesn't have sewing stuff in it. It's actually got biscuits in it. She lays it out.
What sorcery is this?
She lays it out on the table, and like very clearly eyes Jeddick up and down, like I've got more.
I don't think you
but
you have enough biscuits.
I think I have enough biscuits, but just go ahead. We don't really eat them that much, so
Your hospitality is very much appreciated.
oh, it is lovely to have people here, living people. It's a whole different feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Jim's
Us.
gonna nod and take a biscuit and a cup of tea and sit. I assume there's a table?
Yes, so it's like it's a squarish table. It's usually meant for feeding these three alone. So you guys sort of have to huddle around it for the four of you. But
Well, Jin's gonna use his main character syndrome to be like, he's one of the people that deserves to sit, obviously.
yeah.
I mean, Ailey's probably on the floor petting the cat, right?
Well, I guess that is a point of order. Scraps did try to get on one of the chairs instead, which would have made it very hard for you to sit down on it. So I would say that Scraps is nicely sitting on the chair that Ailey would have been sitting on, and Ailey is sitting on the floor next to it, petting Scraps. Yeah. Yes. As Belinda is serving tea, she'll say, "So I hear that my great niece was around. Yeah."
She has been assisting us, yeah, for sure.
She didn't seem too happy about it, but yeah.
The important part, I think, is that she did show up in the end, regardless of her initial feelings.
Yes.
That's good. I'm glad that she was willing to help. I'm sad that she didn't hop in to see me, but I know how she can be.
Next time that we see her, I can assure you, I will tell her as much, and that she needs to come back here and say hello when she can.
She smiles at that. Thank you. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, no worries.
So which one of you is the aunt?
Well, I guess you guys have probably found out the secret by now. You all seemed a smart bunch.
Well,
Varys looks at Jeddak and remembers what happened when Jeddak thought he was a dragon. Yes. Yes,
my
we
intelligence is 8.
You just keep
Your
eating.
intelligence is what my strength is.
You just keep eating those biscuits, dear. Don't you worry.
Jin kind of
Maybe an 8. Yeah, no, she doesn't. Her intelligence is at a 10.
Yep.
Surprising.
Well, yes. I am privy to the family secret, as it were. And from my understanding of what you were attempting to do here before, I believed that you understood the nature of our family. So I am.
I think we understand it just well enough. Maybe not too well, but. And Jin's gonna kind of gesture at the other members of the party.
Kind of had an inkling, well, our own forms of confirmation, but nothing so concrete that we were going to be crass about it.
Fair enough. Well.
I didn't want to interrupt. That's why I just wrote it.
Yeah. The jug does not.
Some tea?
The Bayron is serving tea.
Oh. Well, mine's nicer.
You say tea to the alchemy jug, and nothing comes out of it.
Nothing comes. Oh,
it doesn't serve tea.
You could have 2 gallons of mayonnaise.
Oh dear.
Nice.
Anyway.
Like I said, he's got an intelligence of 8.
Carried.
As you put the jug out and very clearly empty, trying to pour out tea, and you're like, oh no. Beyrunda comes over with her tea and pours it into the alchemy jug for you. There you go.
God. It works.
Oh, so cute.
That's never mind.
Some magics are simpler than others, right?
True. It's very true.
But yes, it is in fact the other way around. I am the great grandniece, Aliratha Griminoy. The yeah.
I entirely understand if you don't know, but do you know much about the history of dragons in this place? When we first arrived to the continent, it seemed people didn't know what dragons were at all.
Well, it's a big secret. It's been a big secret in my family. Well, the entire time that I've been a part of it, obviously. I don't know how far it stretched back. Probably to the very beginning of our family. The occasional. There's been the occasional interbreeding, as it were, which has led to some not unlike your friend Ailey here to be born. But of course, we kept all of that well hidden and under the wraps, and we've always, taken the hit for her whenever she needed to. She's longer lived than any of us, than any elf. So whenever it seems like she should be too old and should be dying, she disappears for a little while and then comes back as someone's grandson, someone's daughter, someone's long forgotten niece, something like that, until she's restored back into her position.
Makes sense.
Yes. I, oddly enough, even being a pretty much direct descendant, I don't have nearly as much magic as others, so it's not necessarily a directly inheritable thing, it seems, but the name itself is, which is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Kept me in good standing.
Do you know much about the worship of ginseng in this area?
I mean, I know that
Or
he's
just
at
in
the.
general.
I know that he was at the Temple of Dead Gods. I know that that my family did have some worship of him earlier on in its time, but it had since dissipated, as of course we all thought that he was just dead.
Well, I mean, that may be true. Where would he have been worshipped before he died?
I believe that there was a temple to him in a moment. Here. Places. This one. In Hervalor, I believe that there was a temple to him. It was a long time ago now. It's probably been dismantled. I know that some people simply went directly to the solar tether to worship him.
The what? Sorry?
The solar tether. You guys have heard of that before? I'm pretty sure. So please roll me an intelligence check.
Intelligence.
Anyone who wants to.
Would Jin have heard of it?
No.
Didn't think so.
I'm afraid not.
Every time I can never find it, and then I'm like, oh, it's over here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Janet definitely hasn't heard of it, but that tracks. Oh no!
Haley, Janet,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
All right, I'll say for Ailey and Varys, it rings a bell, but you're not sure exactly where you've heard that before. But yes, you say.
What's the solar tether? I'm not from here.
Oh, well, north of Pervalor, there's a crater. I'm sure you've seen that.
Oh.
Right in the very center of it is a very large crystal, extremely large, that we call the solar tether. We believe it draws in energy from the sun, but because of its crystalline nature, being almost diamond-like, many believed that it was possibly Jensen's egg of some sort. I don't know why they would think that, but they did. So they would worship there. It is also where the king Tessarion went and got himself ice golemed. So
I believe that we forded towards the edge of the crater, but we did not go in, and we were very quickly ambushed, I believe, by people eager to take our heads.
I see. Well, it was very wise not to approach the crystal itself. It is very volatile magic. It was only the very bravest of people who attempted to worship directly, and as I said, no, the things that happened to the king are the things that happen to the most powerful magics among us. Those weak found themselves no longer with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
The solar tether must be ginormous, given how many squares it takes up on the map.
It is huge, yes. Yes. So I'm not sure. I imagine Varys and Ailey can fill you in at some point. So I'll say that essentially their experience of it is coming up over it like anyone would like a hill sort of trek, and up over the top of it. It's like oddly barren around the outside of the crater, but as soon as you crest over it, it is just like a lush bush inside, and all of the plants and all of the leaves, like they would normally point at the sun for their energy. All of the plants within the crater point directly at the crystal, gathering their energy from there. The reason why they immediately made their hasty retreat is because upon magically inspecting the area, there were a number of horrifying things on the Rakus's radar, and Ailey had an immediately bad feeling about everything. So they left.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is bad. Everything is bad.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So. Yes.
Definitely a point of interest, but probably one we could leave alone for a little while.
Sounds sensible.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
Well, if there are no other questions for Bayrinder,
Ailey was just there
And-
for the cat.
of course.
Sorry, we've it's been interrogating you a little bit. Is there anything you want to ask us?
No, that's perfectly fine. I mean, not really. I'm glad to. You've been of so much service to us already. I'm glad that you can send a kind word to my auntie to come and see us. Yeah, she is. I'm pretty sure that we're the last people who actually share her name that isn't her. So,
Oh, okay.
well, so I'm not sure if you're aware of the custom. I guess you probably aren't.
Also not from here, so no. I don't think
Exactly.
so.
So the noble house, Greminor, the name that I have from Berinda Greminor, it sort of supersedes any other. In a marriage, usually there's that sort of stuff. With an honorable name, it always is the dominant name. My husband is also a Greminor, and so is little Grevin, because of that fact. So the fact that we are the only ones surviving sort of can kind of tell you about what's happened to the line.
Fair. I think I talked to the king, to Serion. I believe the same thing happened with his last name as well too.
Yes, the Vicarans were the Earth Kingdom's most noble house, the king's house. So when he was married to his wife, he took on that name. They unfortunately bore no children.
I did wonder why the concept sounded familiar.
Yes, and I imagine the same thing will hold true for Jamie's children, if she ever has any.
Would Jamie's partner then take on her last name as well?
If by all rights, yes, they would.
Cool. Okay. Gareth just has like a little inward chuckle to himself as he thinks about the Thrakus with
My
Jamie's last
brain
name.
is dying, but I'm still picking up on that one.
Thrakus Zoltamon. Anyway.
That's a pretty cool name.
Wife to the Dark Lady. Anyway, if there are no other questions, is anywhere else you'd like to go? Or where to next, basically?
I guess they're gonna politely, chat for a bit and then leave.
Yeah. I think Varys would probably want to head back to Alafon, but I mean, if anyone else wanted to go and see, I think was it Alamon, or am I thinking of somebody else? The blacksmith.
The blacksmith.
Ailey was wanting to get some thieves' tools, I think.
Yes.
What is his
I might be
name?
wrong on that name. It might be somebody else.
Too many names, too many people. Too many people. Elven Kingdom. Zoltamon. Joralden is the name.
Oh, Geraldine, yeah.
It's the blacksmith. But he's also a guardsman. What?
He's the God's master.
Yes, correct. It's a big deal, that guy. Where is he in my list? I am very annoyed. That's fine. Yes, but you may want to see him as he is also a blacksmith. And may indeed have thieves' tools. Which is something that I believe you were interested in, Ailey.
Yes.
As you now need to grab as many as you possibly can.
Yep.
Well, if we ever get taken in by the guards, we're immediately going to be in so much shit. And so they empty out the bag of holding, and like just 50 fucking pairs of thieves' tools fall out.
Right.
I'm a locksmith.
Yeah. And with her description, they'll probably believe it. For example, I'm totally a locksmith.
Yeah,
Oh boy, I hope
you're all
you don't need that roll later on.
You're all convinced.
They're all convinced that Haley's a locksmith. The blacksmith. So
Amazing.
how much are they?
Well, if that's where you're going.
We haven't even got to him yet.
Yeah. So you say your goodbyes.
Haley was trying to convince him. Too soon.
No, you weren't even close to him. Oh my god. Yes. So you all finish up your biscuits. Jeddick empties the entire container. You'll finish up your tea and say your polite goodbyes. Give Scraps a nice little scratch before leaving, yeah, to all the pleasantries of saying goodbye. So you make your way.
Sorry, just as one little aside, as we're leaving, Varys would like to turn around to Bayrinder and say, if you were ever to make a hat, maybe? And he points in towards Golowin. Sort of similar to that, but for my sized head, I'd very much appreciate that.
Oh, hold on a second. She trudges off into a room unseen. Comes out.
Varys is beaming.
Comes out with a knitted beanie of some sort. It looks like it'll be just a touch too large for you, but will definitely keep you warm. And it is very much of Jamie's purple color.
Cool.
Here you go. Grevin doesn't need this one anymore.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Varys will pull it down, sort of shoving his ears under it so the tips of them don't just poke through or whatever.
It is of elven make, so it fits around your ears perfectly.
Wonderful. Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. She is absolutely beaming that she was able to provide you something.
Varys looks very chuffed as he steps away.
Why does Varys want this hat?
Warm. Nice
Yes,
and warm
might
hat.
get cold. We can't all have scales and wings to wrap ourselves up in.
That's fair.
I'm just a little guy. Leave me alone.
Well, you guys start heading back. So you, on the way, take the route which is back towards the mansion, and then take a right past the temple again, out into the swamp, until you come upon an encampment fortress-esque encampment that Jordan is indeed blacksmithing at. Before you can even see him, you hear the tink, tink, tink of metal against metal. That seems to be his constant vocation. Does not even stop as you approach.
Hi.
For the record, he is
I was gonna say, is he still the hot one? But,
yeah.
but
For the
everyone was
record,
staring at even Ailey.
yeah. For the record, he is about maybe like 2 to 3 inches shorter than Jeddick, but almost as jacked, and pale white, and just like paper white skin. He's wearing blacksmithing shorts and like a thick blacksmithing what's the word I'm looking for here?
Apron?
Apron. Yeah, blacksmithing apron. So you can see all of the muscles that are going on otherwise.
Contours.
Yeah, and as they flex under the weight of each hammer strike, and you see the sparks of light, just give you a fantastic idea of every single contour to him.
Paris suddenly feels much warmer, and it's got nothing to do with the forge fire.
Or the hat. But yeah, he doesn't stop as you guys approach.
How goes the blade work?
He stops. Well, he gets in another hit and puts the hammer down and lifts his goggles up over his head. Well, I didn't realize you guys were back. Poor guards master I am.
You were busy doing other things, and we had the blessing of the lady to enter. I'm sure if we didn't have that, you would have found us.
Very much so. You see that he's got like thick black lines under his nose and across his forehead, whereas his goggles were not protecting him from some of that. Well, what can I do you for?
Not very much.
Do you have more sides? She pulls out the sickle.
No, I can't say that I do.
Yeah.
I want to mention there is
Can I
a
please
huge
have
demand
some
for it.
lockpicks?
Lockpicks? I can
Yeah.
do some of those, yes.
How much are they?
Let me check.
Skelly looks at how much money I have to see how much he'll overcharge me.
No, I'm
Quick Google
consulting
Thieves him out.
I am consulting my stuff
This
here.
is homebrew. You don't get to decide what the prices are, unfortunately.
That's true.
Could be anything.
Yeah. I mean, most things are close to the price of what's the word I'm looking for here? Lockpicking tools.
Okay, Skelly.
Yeah, sorry. I am brain not here things. Right.
Hell yeah. Feel that.
Okay. So, what I was trying to say is that a lot of the prices here are based on what you would traditionally find in Faerun, which is where a lot of D&D stuff takes place. And Faerun is actually a place in this world. that you guys that some of you have been to, that is
I
separate
believe
to.
Varus is technically from there.
Not
think
sure.
Empire's in there.
Jun certainly is. There's a couple of places you guys have been. You may have been there for sure. You Varus probably have been. Ailey has been, I think. I don't think the Rikus has been to anywhere in Faerun. Jeddick might have been as well. But there's also a whole nother continent that is not part of Faerun that you guys are also from. And then there's this one, which has only recently become available. But the reason why a lot of the stuff is not specifically based on that cost is because a lot of it has been imported from there. So, has tariffs and stuff associated with it. But
Import
because
tax,
exactly.
tax, tax.
Exactly. But also the Elven Kingdom has only recently switched from a different economic system altogether and have switched on to gold, silver, and copper as a currency as they moved to trade with the rest of the world. So their stuff is sort of all over the place. But he's going to give you a good deal and says, I'll give you one for 25 gold pieces. And I have 3.
I'll take all of them. And Skelly can do the math.
Fantastic.
That's
Oh, that's
75 gold.
75. So I have to minus that from your... So you should have 58 gold left. You can do that. I'll give you more thieves' tools, which are now consumables.
Dun, dun, dun.
I can't actually change them to consumables. That's really annoying.
So for those unaware.
Oh yeah, I mean this was explained last time. Is that we're changing the rules here for this specific thing, just because we like dungeons, we like Baldur's Gate, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we like doing.
No,
I
only
will.
getting one chance to get the loot and fucking it up, so now I can have 2 chances.
So you
Also.
have 4 of those. I will figure out a way of making those consumable at another time. But you now have 4 of these tools.
Yes. Ailey will just, go back to vaguely looking at the weapons and also staring at the shirtless guy, being like, how does he do that? And like staring at her own muscles.
And trying to flex and see where they are and
Yeah.
what that one is.
Yeah. Like, what?
How do you exercise that muscle in particular? That's crazy.
He's got muscles I didn't even know we had. My God. Muscles in places most people don't even have places.
Yeah, Jin's kind of just casually staring a little bit too much.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Doesn't matter what your interest is, everyone's interested in that guy.
Yep.
Except for the Rikus.
Yep.
My interests matter. Also, I'm with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So, is there anything else you'd like to purchase? I have.
Anything looking around it looks of interest?
He mainly has mundane weapons. You don't see anything that's particularly magical. See a simple blacksmith.
How often do you work with different materials for making your weapons?
Occasionally. I mean, here and there I'll make silver arrows and silver-tipped weapons. So they can be pretty useful. Otherwise, it's pretty much iron and steel around here.
Fair. Would you be interested in using some spice?
Hmm.
I don't know how it would fold into the metal, but I imagine folding it would help imbue it with magical properties. It might be a bit random, but I mean, could be
I have-
perfected over time.
I have worked with spice-infused materials before. They are, yes, they are unruly. I wouldn't hesitate to fold my own, but if you happen to give some to Elephon, and he has some for me, then I would happily make something for you if you want.
Sure, you'd rather work with the material already infused with spice, not the raw spice itself?
Yes, too many wacky things can happen when you attempt to magically infuse a metal.
Yeah, Varys goes like catatonic for a second as he thinks of all the things that have gone wrong since he started experimenting with spice. And he just spaces out for a couple of seconds.
Just realizing that this blacksmith in the middle of nowhere had the sense to not fucking do that, and you did not.
He jumped in feet first and didn't give a shit. Okay, cool. That's good to know. I will endeavor to get him to do so.
Well then, back to it, I guess.
Thank you very much.
He nods. He very clearly nods at all of you who are staring.
Jun blushes.
Pulls his goggles back down and puts the blade that he was working on back into the furnace to heat it back up.
Off we go.
All right. Last place then. Back to the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
So, Thoracus. Thoracus?
I am here.
What compromising position do they find you and Jamie in when they arrive back?
What time of day is it?
It's now like 2-3 p.m.
We're having tea, duh. It's tea time.
Just tea time. Okay. A tea break. Halftime oranges.
It's tea time. We're enjoying each other's company and each other's minds. Skelly.
Ew, let's ask the 8-4. What did Thoracus do with Jamie? But in cats.
Anyway,
Build a cabalito.
amazing. All right. So, you arrive back at the mansion. So it turns out, after looking at my notes, Hamon, the person that you guys had brought from Cloudport, is different to Haymon, who is the person who is who's looking after who's the servant. Obviously, New Zealand accents and all that, I sort of blended the both together, so that's on me. Haymon, the servant, opens the door before you even manage to get to it, as he seems to have been aware of your return.
Were you waiting there, or were you elsewhere, or both?
Yes.
Okay.
And
cool.
then
That's exactly what I expected. I don't know why the fuck I asked. I knew.
the lovely ladies are awaiting you in the tea room, if you'd like to to meet them there.
Yes, head call me lady.
Tea room.
Yuck. Vampires ladylike attitudes. Mm-mm.
I mean, he was meaning in more of like the royal term.
I'm a consort, motherfucker.
Yeah, I guess
Ain't
that's
no
fair.
lady.
He was prescribing you something beyond your station.
Yeah, it's unbecoming, quite frankly.
Don't you title me? My goodness.
So he directs you towards this room over here. You guys feel free to move yourselves around Jamie's abode. But once you get there, you will find Jamie and Thoracus sitting in a nice little reading room with a table made up for some lovely herbal teas. Very floral smell as soon as you enter. There is a seemingly a ghost at the piano here, as a sort of very ethereal figure is seemingly sitting at the piano and playing the keys, playing a nice melody, but not like any piano player you've ever heard. Like normally when you hit the keys, there's this sort of a constant volume that pianos have, right? No matter if you're hitting a note, it always reaches a certain level, but somehow the ghost playing it has like caused the volume to be muted somewhat, so it's just a constant underlying music to the room as opposed to a grand concert or anything like that. It's haunting, but in a nice way.
It's
Subtly
haunting, but you don't have to
haunting.
speak over it, sort of thing.
Exactly. Like putting on, saying Alexa, play something. I'm sorry I summoned it. But turn it down so that people can hear over it, Ah. Good to see you all.
You too as well. How are things?
Yeah, really good. How was everybody? Is Kaya and Berinder and Geraldine doing?
Kaya destroyed the statue for the Black Sun God because apparently if he's not dead, she doesn't want him in there, and she
That's fair.
didn't like him to start with, which is understandable.
Yes. You'll have to get used to having Jensen removed once we've restored him, huh?
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know how she'd feel about that. I feel like he's got the most traffic of anybody anybody in there.
For sure. Maybe she could change it into a temple of Jensen. Maybe.
I
He'd
don't
enjoy
know
that.
if you're
Yes.
I don't know if you're joking. I feel like that's actually not a bad idea.
Well,
Eh?
there's already the temple.
The what?
What?
The Jensen.
There's plenty of temples to Jensen, yes.
No, but the one with the really fancy statue.
You mean the one that's back in Copper now?
Yeah, with all the mimics.
Sure. I mean, I feel
Does
like
Let's make it difficult for him to be worshipped, though, yes?
We just
That
kill all
is-
the mimics.
that's an entire city. I know that we're pretty good. Don't get me wrong. We kick ass, but I don't know if we kick an entire town's worth of mimic ass. That's a lot.
That's fair.
We could chip away at it slowly. How do mimics
That's true.
breed?
I don't know.
Can we just like bomb most of the city then, and then like just not near the temple?
The time it would take me to make the amount of bombs to get rid of them in that place, we probably might as well just go through it ourselves, you know?
This
The
be
place is
considered
big.
genocide?
I don't. They're actively hostile to everybody. I don't. Maybe.
Only if you like actually upset them. Like you go up and poke them.
Well,
I
yes,
mean, they are
during the day for
actively.
sure, but yeah, at night they were roaming around looking for things to eat
Yeah, because they need to eat to live.
for
Like,
sure. But there were people sort of thing there.
I'll
Could
shoot a
have been.
squirrel in order to not be hungry for a night. It doesn't make me evil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's evil necessarily, but I don't think they're either good either.
I mean, there's an overpopulation problem, but like,
Mm.
genocide.
I wonder if Joe's people would be able to take them out. I mean, I know that mimics like flesh and things. I wonder how they would go about trying to digest a construct.
Maybe they wouldn't try.
Maybe the constructs could get to like just herd them out because they're not flesh and blood.
Mm.
But I
Perhaps.
think the last thing that we want is a tidal wave of mimics pouring out of the city.
It all seems like a lot, honestly.
There's a lot going on in this continent. There's just a lot.
I'm sure there's plenty of things happening in other continents as well that you're not privy
for
to.
sure. Yeah, it's possibly world-ending things there as well, but we are here dealing with these ones.
It's very true. Very true. Well, I take it you guys want to head off.
I'm
Yes?
just gonna nod quietly.
Well, I'll have Haemon bring your horses in their smaller forms, of course, up to Elephon, so you guys can get ready for your teleportation.
Sounds good. Is Elephon amenable to an audience now?
Yes, of course.
Okay, that's good. Oh,
Cool.
before I forget, do you have any advice about the Feywild?
It is a absolutely chaotic place that I believe me giving you advice would lead you, once arrived, for the Feywild to accept your challenge in that way and completely null and void that advice. So I think I best keep anything I know to myself.
Ride the trip out, don't try and control it.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Like a... Yes.
We can leave it at that. That's okay.
Like a devil's trap. It is much better for you to take things as they come and sort of go limp and let it happen. In that sense, obviously, if something threatens you, cut it down, but otherwise, don't try to force the Feywild to do more than it is doing.
Yeah, sounds good.
Force gets no one very far.
Exactly. Like
what is this here?
That is a conjuring board of some sort. So there's there's a skull on it, obviously. In a small book, it looks like it is some form of roll me an Arcana check.
Sure.
From a quick glance, it's definitely some sort of divination instrument. Yep. It appears to be something similar to a Ouija board as well.
Oh yeah.
There is many letters across it. The standard yes or no stuff, but there's runes inscripted into it, and it seems to actually have some sort of magic to it. It seems like it would be sort of a permanent speak with dead spell, essentially, is on it.
While Varys and Jamie are talking, Jun's going to wander over there and just look at it. He's not going to touch anything. He's going to do that thing where you clasp your hands behind your back so that you don't touch anything.
Fair.
He's just waiting for everybody to get on with it.
Makes sense. I didn't realize how many skulls I put in this room. Anyway. Yes.
You can see one.
There's also one sitting next to one as well. Anyway. Yes. You get the feeling that although Jamie is not looking at you as you move around, she is aware of exactly where you are and your presence at all times. And in noticing that, you realize that you guys didn't say to her that you were going to go see Kaya, Bayrinda, and Geraldine. She just knew that that's where you guys had been since then.
I mean, yeah, she's connected to all her people, right?
Yes, but it's exactly. It seems to be. It's just something that you notice as you get that feeling as you're walking around this room in her presence.
She fosters such a lovely sense of community.
Exactly. So,
Jun looks sideways at Varys to see if Varys has realized this as well.
I don't think Varys is particularly bothered by this information.
Cool.
Jun's still waiting for everyone to get on with it.
I don't believe that there was any other questions anyone wanted to ask.
No.
Nope.
Well, in that case, Jamie will sort of raise her hand and slowly drop it, and sort of like a magic trick, sort of esque, where you you reveal something, like you pull down like you're pulling the cloak off of something. But instead of that, as she's bringing her arm down, you're seeing Hamon appear beyond her arm. She's pulling him out of whatever space that he is occupying while he is not visible. Hamon, please collect the horses. Return them to their small states so that they can easily be transported on the teleporter. Yes. And he goes, "Of course, madam," and immediately disappears again, just as before. Blink and you'll miss it.
Varys didn't blink and he still missed it.
Yep.
Ailey missed it because it's Ailey.
Yes.
Mm. Oh, could I send a sending message as well too?
You may.
Cool. Varys sends this through to Micaiah. We are on our way, teleporting to Rala Valor, then we'll be on horseback. Good news, we got you back up. Bad news is it's just us.
You will hear back almost immediately. I should probably not be selecting Ailey when I say this. Well, I mean, it is an Elvish, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's fine. Varys speaks Elvish.
Exactly.
Varys has a warm little smile to his face as he does that. Micaiah is aware that we're on our way.
Fantastic. Cool.
You remember the giant owl that flew towards us when we were heading to Glendalour? The one that ripped through the trees and was pretty terrifying? Yeah, it's about what I expected. Okay.
I think probably what's more
Ailey's
memorable
just
is
there. I was trying to think of the words to explain the expression on Ailey's face.
I think more memorable is her being a lizard in your underclothes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
That's why Ailey will be like, unless you mention the lizard, she will be like,
You know, turned into a glowing panther. Came with us to the city. Turned into a lizard and went with you to see Wicklow.
Lizard! I
Yeah.
remember the lizard. I patted the lizard a lot.
Yep. Lizard was a person, but yes, that's who I told.
Perfect.
Sorry, what was her name?
Micaiah.
Okay.
Micaih.
Got that wrong. That one wrong too. Good.
I mean, if you know how to say it, it doesn't matter when it's spelled, really.
Yeah. I mean,
Your
it's
notes.
phonetically still the same.
Your notes, that's all that matters. So, once Haemon has disappeared, Jamie stands up and walks out of the tea room and up the stairs, expecting you to follow to Elephon's room.
Come on, everybody, we're off to see the wizard.
Jin follows closely.
So you go up the stairs and head in different opposite direction to the main rooms of the house that you guys had stayed in, and to an odd wing of the house, the mansion, that sort of raises up into a tower that you had seen from the outside. Once you enter, you notice exactly why that is the case. It is like a wizard's tower, essentially. An alchemist's is probably a better term for that. And in there you see a wizened old elf, grey hair, grey beard, who
Like, he looks
is
old for even elven standards, right?
yeah, he is exactly
A
similarly
normal
to
standard if they have a beard, so they're old. Is that the?
no, but like so him and Kaya are extremely old. Like it seems like they reached old age, like extremely old age, died of old age instead of being killed, and then were resurrected by Jamie and continued to get older. So that's how old they are.
Ellie would be like, "Oh, so
Awesome.
your grandpa."
um, he doesn't even notice that, as he is currently seemingly in an argument with Zupemo about the nature of spice, and its possible uses. And it seems like that has been the case since you guys left this morning, as Hamon from Cowport is sitting there, sort of fumbling through a book. Doesn't speak a word of Elvish, so is not actually reading this book. But you see, he's just like bored out of his mind, like, oh man. But he looks up.
Varys walks up to him.
He looks up to see you guys and is like, oh, thank God.
How long has this been going on for?
Hours.
Oh, shit. Have you kept
Is there
yourself
someone
busy?
with an actual answer so that they don't keep doing this?
Yes, I
Say
have tried.
Jamie?
Oh, you
I
mean
think the problem is that they both have answers.
yes? That is definitely the problem.
Maybe one of the dragons might know because they've been around for ages.
They're all gone. I don't think it's so much about specifically finding a single answer. I think it's more that they both want to be right about stuff. They're just trying to one up each other. I don't understand.
Ah, old people.
Well,
Wizards.
wizards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomers.
I mean, I have knowledge of what it can do. I don't start arguments with people about it, but you know, whatever.
Oh shit.
But as you guys
Yeah.
converse with Hamon, Zupimo and Elefon seemingly notice your presence and sort of cut their conversation short, and turn to you guys. Zupimo talking over Elefon says, "All right, you ready to go?" And Elefon at the same time is saying, "Oh, hello, you guys. It's been a long time."
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Yes, likewise. I've been
How have you been?
well, I've been doing some research on the spice that you left me.
Mm-hmm.
I found some
Made some strides?
I found some unique properties. I've created some magical metals using it, and
Ooh.
I've possibly had some insights into possible other uses that your other wizard friend seems to believe otherwise, but that is fine. He will be leaving soon and out of my hair.
Sure. I mean, yeah, fine. I do have a suggestion slash as I don't know, a payment to me or a favor or whatever. Maybe you leave some of those metals with Geraldine.
Yes, I was planning on doing that with my next batch. I can
Wonderful.
make it a bit larger.
For sure. I just spoke to him about the possibility of using spice, so he is aware that that could happen soon.
Fabulous. I will allow him to also make some weapons out of them. I was mainly gonna get him to make alchemical tools. So.
True. I mean, not saying that those can't be helpful, but magical weapons, even if they're a little dicey, are usually pretty handy.
Yes, of course.
What other properties have you found?
Well, spice at its heart is magic in pure form. It is entirely random. I have yet, by it seems like pure design, that it is meant to obfuscate and attempt to deceive whoever investigates it in any empirical fashion, if that makes sense. It seems like the more I attempt to try to understand it, put it into boxes and label it, it changes and warps itself to stop that from happening. It's all very exciting as a man of science.
I'm very glad to hear that you're having a good time with it. From my personal experience, it's generally about intent on use or creation, as it were.
Yes.
Before that, it can be anything.
Yes, very much. Exactly. That is exactly what I mean. It does not conform to any specific state or any sort of activator in that sense. You can, so long as the thing that you are activating it with has some consciousness behind it, it can do whatever that consciousness wills. But the activator can be anything from magic to an explosion to anything that releases the energy within it. But if there's a consciousness, it can do anything that the wanter wants, with, obviously some limitation. It's not a wish granting thing, unfortunately. But I guess if you had enough of it and in enough space to ignite it, you could.
I don't recommend attempting that one.
No, you'd have to have a lot of magical essence of your own to be able to control it. But what I'm saying is, it in that way, it is the same sort of fuel that runs within our veins as magic, but in powdered form. It's amazing.
It is. It's very good. How are you going with your supply of it? Are you still okay?
Yes. I've been very careful with the amounts that I've been using. I still have. Yes, I still have a lot. If you're willing to give me more, then I wouldn't say no.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. Varus will pass out a half bag of it. He's got two bags of spice on him, so he'll give him a half bag.
Fantastic. I will put this towards making more of the metal. Yes.
Wonderful. Yes, that sounds good. Was anything that I was able to show you when I was demonstrating my abilities, was that helpful?
Yes.
When I first showed you about these?
Yes. That's exactly what set me on the idea of finding particular ways of setting off particular types of magic, so that I could create perhaps a device that could use spice as its main energy source and continuously cast some sort of spell or just keep active in some way, some device that uses it as an energy source. But every time I tried, it always had a different reaction, because there's no consciousness behind its action.
And it's very specific intent each time as well.
Exactly.
I'm glad to hear that you're making progress on it.
Yes.
Jin is very curiously listening in on this conversation.
Um,
I missed a chunk of it dealing with the cats.
yes. Jun or Varys, you may, either of you may roll Arcana checks, or History checks, whichever one you want.
I will go with an Arcana. Ooh. Dirty 20.
Okay.
I realize I've still got my sheet covering everyone.
Of course. So,
Rolls are separate.
him saying that, the idea of a device that is powered by spice immediately sets your mind on Joe, the constructs, your Clockwork Owl. They are all powered by spice.
Oh shit. But
I thought we knew that already. Did
Yeah,
we
but
not?
he's been planning that. He was trying to devise a use for this, and he was trying to understand better how all that worked. And he just explained to you that the only way for him to make a device that could utilize the spice properly would be for it to have consciousness of its own. And that kind of points to all of these clockwork things that you've been looking after, and kind of explains their whole deal.
Varys just sort of sways on the spot for a second as he thinks about it, and I think he probably mutters out loud without meaning to. Oh,
You would
God,
also
that's
notice at the same time that Zupimo has just got a massive grin on his face. Like, he's like, yeah, fucking idiot, I totally knew this.
God damn it. Yeah,
So-
I mean,
I'm trying to think how much Jun has seen of these things.
You've certainly seen
Because-
Joe, and you fought some of these clockworks before. So, and on that low roll, I don't think you immediately noticed it, but you do notice that Varys has noticed something, and Zupimo have noticed something. And Zupimo is being a bit of an asshole about it, and Varys is trying to figure out the best way to say it, I guess.
yeah. I believe that you are correct, and I don't mean to take the wind out of your sails or anything. I think it has already been done.
Oh?
Yes. Yes. It ties into a lot about this land as well too, and the metal structures over in the other kingdoms.
Oh.
And there are I can't give away too many details because it's not my place to do so, I don't think. But we have a friend who has family, I guess you could say, that very much fit the description of what you're talking about. Constructed creatures with wills and I assume souls of their own.
Oh. Very interesting.
Can souls be created? Or
Is that Jun asking, or you asking?
I guess I'm asking, would Jun know this? Like, because obviously, being a follower of a death god.
Yep. So
would-
from
Can-
As a player, Varys does not know this to be the case, but he assumes that they have souls because of his interactions with Joe and such.
so strictly strictly. The only... Strictly from your understanding of the ins and outs of the world, no. There is no way to create a soul, as far as Jun is aware.
That also explains why when Joe died, he didn't end up going to the Black Sun God's realm.
Yes, in some fashion. But at the same time, you also know that these devices were created very specifically to fight against the Black Sun God. When Zolveria getting very all philosophical here about the nature of consciousness. Yeah, nature of consciousness versus actually having a soul. So there is definitely some conscious intent behind all of the clockworks. There is an intelligence. There is a mind there. What separates that from an actual soul is where we get real metaphysical. And obviously, for all of you mortals, you have a soul that would go to a place when you die, right? Especially Jun's understanding of the death domain as it stands. That's the cycle, that souls get born here in the material plane, die, and go to their death place of their supposed place, and that is the way of things. But what Varys made it sound like just then is that someone created these clockworks and created souls for them to make them function.
Is that the impression that Jun has from this conversation?
Yes.
I think he's going to be quite disturbed by this idea, and a little bit unsure of how to process it.
That's fair. Alethon will continue his line of questioning and say, would you perhaps possibly have one of these contraptions that I could look at?
I mean, I don't mean to sound rude. A, I probably wouldn't call them contraptions. That seems a bit rude. But B, I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
I don't. Well, Varys will look to Therikas.
Yeah, you look at me.
Yep.
You've got Fenny Boo with you?
Yes.
Ailey will produce her drawing of the clockwork dragon as well.
Sure. Well, when we needed Fanny Boo to go and retrieve some stuff for us, we gave her some spice, and it helped accelerate her ability to fly, and I think made it easier for her to go a longer distance.
So
I'll offer her like a little bit of spice, which was perched in my hands.
So so Fanny Boo is a little bit different in that sense. She's not constantly awake, constantly a bird. Most times she is simply a statue of the same clockwork metal that all these others are made out of. And the only way to get her to become bird, to unfurl herself and act like a bird in any way, is to activate her with a destination, basically. So,
Fanny Boo, I need you to go and say, and I like whisper in Fanny Boo's ear so they can't hear, to Jun, suck it. Here's some spice.
So you start to hear, and Elephant's eyes go wide as this happens, as Fanny Boo's wings unfurl. She starts ticking and whirring and clicking, and her eyes go that nice, bright, brilliant blue that all the clockworks seem to have in their insides, the energy. And she happily sort of like picks up the spice off of your hand, and very briskly flaps over to Jun, gets right up on Jun's shoulder, gets her beak up real close, and for everyone who can actually see, sees that inside the beak is sort of like a speaker grill inside of it, and gets real close to Jun's ear and goes, "Suck it," and then and then like sort of hops around on Jun's shoulder expectantly, as it is expecting a return message.
Oh shit! Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Jun looks at Varys and goes, "Can you have you got a pinch of the spice there, bro?"
Sure, yeah, why not? I'll give him a small sprinkling of spice.
Jun will feed the little bit of spice to Fanny Boo as a reward, and go, and he'll go, "Say to the Rikers." Well, of course. Flicking the bean isn't my interest.
Fanny Boo will accept the spice, and just as briskly will fly over to Rikus and return that message.
Of
course.
Messages to go Rita.
Yeah.
That really backfired.
And as the message is completed, she will fold her wings back in, close her eyes and beak, and return to being a statue, seemingly unchanged by the experience. And Elephon will just sort of
Changed forever.
will just sort of sway a little bit, eyes still wide, grab a hold of a bench near him to steady himself, and go, That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I mean, it wasn't entirely the same. Varys is kind of backpedaling after seeing how this was done. Our friend Joe is a construct. It was an odd combination of things. I mean, Zupemo and Varys all gestured to him. We ended up in a fight at one point, and Joe was killed, essentially, I think is the closest I can get to it. I was able to repair his body, but there wasn't anything there. But Zupemo was able to help restore. I'm not sure how to word it. You were able to put the magic back
Resurrect?
into him, essentially, right?
Zupemo will answer this. Yes, I was able to restore whatever energy had been lost, and it seemed that whatever memory or consciousness he held before was returned in kind. I believe that there's a fundamental understanding of Joe as a clockwork and those other more complicated ones that are different to our friend Fanny Boo here, as they are.
True.
They seem to be able to hold their consciousness, well, even after death, it seems. I mean, Fanny Boo is obviously inanimate at the moment and still retains some baser consciousness. It's like a carrier pigeon was imprinted onto this device to produce such effect.
Yes, and with Joe in particular, I'm not sure of the exact timeline, but he'd been stuck, kept in a room on his own for quite a while, but he was the only one that we met that we could communicate with, and we helped set him up, I guess, with some instruments to help his people. But he is the only one that I can think of that would probably have the answers that you seek. I also don't think that they can really stray far from that area of the continent as well. Joe said that as we approached the forest to enter the Elven Kingdoms, he said that he felt his range was running out.
You see, Alphon is just sort of deep in thought about all this information that has been given to him, and then he pushes his glasses back up. I see. Well, that is far and away beyond what I thought possible. When I was thinking about a contraption, I was thinking very much like Fanny Boo there. Something that is designated a task and given energy. I didn't think that something so complex. And then he's like pointing and looking at the drawing that Ailey produced of the dragon. Something so large and so complex, just whoever constructed these devices, they were in a league of their own in this knowledge. I can only guess at what created them and what capabilities they would have otherwise.
That is very fair. I can't speak to who exactly made them, but I feel that Joe would be closer to those answers than I would. But we do believe that they were still running theory that perhaps they were created, well, more confirmed by Null, but created to help in the fight against the Black Sun God.
That does make sense. If they were...
Except that the dragons were hostile towards us.
So the clockwork dragon that you faced, the bad one, was seemingly corrupted by Iridum, as he attempted to corrupt one. Yep, as he attempted. He was attempting to corrupt one while you guys were there at the fabrication station.
I remember now.
Yes. Yes.
We really have to deal with him.
Yep. But it also
vaporized me. What a jerk.
He sure did.
No
But thinking about it now, it also makes sense that that they would have created a bunch of clockwork dragons, as it seems like dragons were on their side against the Black Sun God. So they were creating helpers in that sense, in their image.
Is this how Jensen died?
That's Jensen died fighting the Black Sun, yes.
Yeah, but like this whole giant battle all together in this one time period, not like over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one.
Not a bunch of little battles. Like
no, it was one final battle, one giant big battle.
Oh, one giant showdown. That's fucking cool.
Watching like actual and robotic dragons take off into the sky to fight a god. That's fucking cool.
Well, okay. So the time frame there is a little bit different. So the fight with the Black Sun God was with real dragons, and the mortals that were those who came before. They hadn't yet constructed these cities or constructed these constructs. It was once the Black Sun God was dead and thought to return. That's when they were like, we better fucking sort this out.
Because I didn't have a lot of time.
Fail safe sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's where the clockwork tower that you guys found in the college sort of comes into it, where they had sort of in some way it's some way found in the future that he would return, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, by
science.
Well, it's still unclear because the device that you found showed that this was the case, and Joe explained from the pictograms that was the case, but exactly how they came to that conclusion, that's beyond your guys' understanding, and that's why there was a wizard there still trying to figure out how that machine actually worked.
I mean, I presume it just went, dude, not dead. Probably come back.
Yeah, essentially. So there's that.
Hold up, don't party yet.
Yeah. And then there's at the very top of Storm's Ledge, where they were creating a bunch of different clockworks, not just the dragons, but the armies and stuff. Joe has since looked at it, is translating another pictogram that sort of made those assumptions real, that they were devised for this reason. The Black Sun God was coming back, and they needed to sort that out. And Null also has confirmed this for sure, that is absolutely their design. That they are there to combat the Black Sun God. But it seems like, from your experiences with Joe and stuff, that they either had been waiting around too long, and some have gotten a little bit corrupted by that fact, or the Black Sun knew of this plan and has since been corrupting them himself. There's also the possibility that there seems to be the definite possibility that a lot of this stuff was not yet completed by the time that all those before died out, because when they found out that the Black Sun God was about to come back, and that he was coming back because they were dying, they were like, oh shit, we should stop having children so he doesn't come back as quick. So they stopped having children, and died out before they were able to finish off their great construction. But they did put a hold on the Black Sun God for a little while, until mortals moved back in, started dying, living in their cities, and
now with no concept of what was going on,
and
or why
no concept at all, and all the clockworks were completely dormant and were not telling them of this fact.
Well, I feel no guilt, as I have no progeny, and any of my deaths are not associated with the Black Sun God.
Fair enough.
Ailey is just like cleaning her claws with like the sickle.
Yeah.
Just like listening to all of this, like kind of zoned out, but then like hearing that sort of stuff is like doop-de-doop-de-doo, pretending to be more zoned out than she is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yes.
Either way.
I understand the science, and then like, oh no, I'm totally not listening. I have nothing to do with any of these deaths.
Either way,
we're kind of trying to fit this dude, and you are still reaping souls.
I think every time Ailey's tried to
the
reap
one
a
that
soul,
murders them, though. So long as one of you get the final shot, it doesn't count, right?
Just,
I mean,
but
it
there
also
was,
doesn't
like,
count
those
when
4
you.
guards that I killed the other day.
Yeah, but didn't you have to use you said something about having to use your scythe to do it, or something?
Yeah, I was just wanting to have a scythe.
Okay. So you're not using the scythe anymore, right? Right?
I don't think I have in a while.
You did go through that phase of using it on all the already dead people.
Yeah, you just like hit them in the chest like it was gonna help or something.
Look, I don't know how it worked, and he still randomly kept showing up in dreams and stuff, so, you know. But he hasn't in a while, so I think he's given up on me, which is why he keeps sending those people to murder us.
Okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Elephon speaks up again and says, well, in any case, I think it best that I talk with this Joe and see if he is able to divulge any secrets to me and I to him, and perhaps we can work together on this problem. If we're able to discover the secrets of how he is made and his other works, perhaps I can help him create more to aid in the fight against Black Sun.
That sounds good. We currently have obligations, but we could pick you up and take you there at some point, I guess, maybe?
I mean,
Or are you able to contact him on your own?
I don't believe so. I know sending, but I would have to know exactly who I am sending to. So,
And I
Do you
just
need to know
shove
the
Fanny Boo
person?
at him.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like, how about you two talk? When you're done, send Fanny Boo to me.
okay, sure.
Or, if she gets confused, because we're in a different realm, send Fanny Boo to Jamie.
Of course.
Just, oh my god, these people really gotta get sent in stones.
Well, once
Do you
I've
need to have
sent...
met the person in person, or can you like look at a picture of them and be able to use that?
I mean, possibly. If he is particularly unique to all other constructs, then it might work.
I mean, I feel like I'm biased because I'm his friend, but I would say yes.
Then let's give it a shot.
Varys will very, very gently and carefully, in as much detail as he can, just swipe his gun barrel across a piece of paper and just like a shading, like an etching, a leaf rubbing type of thing,
Yeah.
comes across the page in the form of Joe.
Let me try it. You see him cast the sending spell.
Wouldn't Ailey have, like, a drawing of Joe?
Possibly.
Probably.
But Varys is capable of producing a perfect image of Joe, which is
Yeah.
the best possible thing for this.
Haley's very upset about AI stealing her job.
Wow.
Ellie also occasionally embellishes their drawings of people.
Mm.
There's things that don't exist on them to start with that end up in the drawing.
It adds character.
It does.
Caricature, even. Anyway, yes, you see him cast a sending spell. It seems to go through. You see him sort of mentally sending the message and then seemingly mentally receive a message. Yes, I am now in contact with a person known as Joe that looks like that, so they seem nice.
He's a very
All
nice
right, get
person.
her back and I wrestle her back.
he doesn't even put up a fight. He was barely holding on to it.
Joe is a
Jeez.
very good friend of ours, so bear that in mind as you converse. But do mention that
Of
we
course.
have passed on this information.
Yes,
How
I
many
did.
times are you able to do that today?
Maybe if I've never tried more than once a day.
That's
So
fair.
I had a guess at a stretch. I'd say maybe 8 or maybe up to 10 times. I mean, it would really
Okay.
put a pressure on my magic to do it more than 4, but I could.
Sure. I believe Joe. I don't know. Currently, it's been a while since we've seen him, but he may have capabilities of the sort himself as well too, to be able to send to you.
Yes. He did say something about it. He has his own teleportation circle that I would be able to meet him on. So, I've got a teleportation circle right here. We can teleport between those places. You can teleport. I'm obviously going to teleport you first, but then I will possibly teleport over there to work with him directly, and then teleport back here when I need more things. I do need to fulfill that order of magical middle before I go. So
It's a good idea.
more things on the
This would save the shenanigans.
Yes, quite. Anyway, more stuff for us to figure out in the background while you guys do adventuring. Yes.
If you could, it would mean a lot to me. And Varys will tap the ring. I can send, but it takes a particular time. If you could let Joe know that I'll be in contact with him soon, and that we have some updates.
Yes, of
Fill
course.
him in generally on what's happened. That would be much appreciated.
No problem at all.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Well, Pervalor, I believe. Yes. Oh, Relovalor.
No,
Not
Relovalor.
Pervalor.
We don't want to be going to Pervalor.
No, no, you don't. That is true. And you see him like point down with his finger, and like a laser pointer is coming out of it. He etches out some of the sigils on this small sort of. It's small in a sense. Is a round marble sort of dais that's sort of adjacent to a larger dais that you've seen in this room before. That you probably just thought was just, center of the room sort of piece, somewhere for him to stand, look, knowingly at things. But now you realize, as he's etching in these new sigils, that it is a teleportation dais that is a lot more stable and secure than any teleportation circle that any of you have ever seen before. Seemingly far more ancient than any one that has ever been set up elsewhere. Probably the only one that could be considered more ancient is the one that is in the clockwork tower that Joe currently resides in. But he etches in what seems to be the sigils for Pervalor. Sorry, Relovalor.
And you wonder why I can't remember the city.
They're all named after the same. They all have the same guy that spawned a lot of them. So they've all got valor in them.
Okay, all got the same stuff.
Because they all come from.
I think of it like having city or town and ville at the end.
No, it's because they're all named after a particular line, a lineage, like a house name. Like Zoltamal is named after Jamie's last name, Zoltamal. And they all sort of
name everywhere now.
Yeah, they all come from a set line of elves that all ended up with the very similar last names with Valor at the end. That's why Relovalor, Pervalor, and Glenvalor. So, you're going to Relovalor, which is the capital of the Earthen and Water Kingdoms. Perfect. That is set into place. Please enter the dais, and I will make the teleportation. And
Keep your hands, horns, and wings inside the circle at all times.
Yep.
Jin's
It'll be like trying to bring her wings.
Yes, Jim?
Oh, just gonna jump in there. Let's get going.
Varys steps into pulling his hat down a bit further around his head.
Yeah, and once you are all on the dais, Haemon appears behind Elephant. Before you go, and he hands each of you your respective horse in their tiny forms.
I forgot about that.
Little Nicky.
You need a little Nicky.
Yeah.
Jun finds a pocket in his robes for the little, what is it, a bone?
Yes,
Can't
it's a little
remember.
bone. Well, it's a bone for most of you, except for Varys, or it's like a metal cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's like they try to camouflage themselves.
yeah, they are.
Stuff we carry.
Again, they are very much. They are attuned to you at a very personal level.
A lot of us just really like bones.
Yep.
You all got a bone thing.
Yep.
Could have been a tooth.
True.
Mm.
Just
if you're
imagining
saying
this
that,
horse
then
without teeth now.
you're saying that Jamie would go, yeah, but horse teeth aren't that nice to look at. Let's be real.
Oh, they're real cool. They're all chompy.
Yeah, but canines look way cool.
You would say that.
Anyway, see you later, my dears. I hope you do well. Call on me if needed.
Of course. And I just try to do it sneakily so no one else sees. I clasp her hand, but in it, I'm giving her a mimic tooth.
Roll a sleight of hand.
Will do.
Can Jun roll something to...
You may, if you believe your regular perception is not sufficient.
It will be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will
you're.
be.
You don't need to roll for those. You all very,
pretty big.
you'll very clearly notice Therica's hand over a tooth not unlike what Jamie described as the tooth that she thought was cool. And you see them both share a smile with each other as Elithon completes the teleportation, and you all feel like a hook comes out of the ether, grabs you by the stomach, and wrenches you through time and space. And that's what we're gonna.
Roll,
that's what we're gonna leave off.
Constitution.
Nah, you guys have teleported before. It's fine. Well, I think Jadek probably hasn't, so he might. But we'll leave that till next time, because we'll find out. I mean, you're pretty. It's very unlikely that you end up anywhere other than Relivalor, but we'll find out when we come back next week.
Ooh.
Oh,
So that's what we're gonna finish up.
the petition to have little Nicky now have fangs.
Like a vampire horse.
Oh god.
I
I mean, other
we'll
than
see.
regular horse teeth, but with fangs.
Yeah, exactly. Like a
Big chompy
vampire
canines. Yeah.
horse. Oh,
These
dear.
peasants, as we're walking past all these horses, and they're like, well, at least we know that horses don't eat people, and this one just turns. Oh god.
I want
With the
to suck
flaming
your
mane.
blood.
Yeah. Just going for the extra intimidation factor.
Please.
Oh dear. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. I see that Nine has skipped out without saying anything, like he does, but it's fine. We'll see him next week. Otherwise, thanks everybody else.
I'll be back tomorrow with Baldur's Gate.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Goodbye, recording.
Bye.